Welcome, everyone. You are listening to and perhaps watching the 2018 Hall of Fame inductions. I'm your host, Peeze and I'm joined by the honorary, the true, the only, the single commissioner of FPF, Robert Campana. We've done so many of these that I need to find ways to make it exciting for me. So I say stupid things like Eagle somehow was a Hall of Famer, and he is the producer of this show. Eagle, thanks for all the work.
That's the only time I've done this entire series.
I know, right? There's a series. You're allowed to say it's a series? Because you told me you're not allowed to say it's a series.
I am now.
1 of 8, right? So thank you all for joining us. As I said, I was your host. We're going to get to our induction. This induction, of course, is for the final category, the staff, the builder, the wondrous, the contributor. Basically, whoever works for Rob and he doesn't get tired of and fire. So, without further ado, the 2018 induction in the staff category is...
Paulo Della Rocca, a.k.a. Peeze de la Riz.
You guys are very transparent. You're terrible actors.
Which was supposed to come as a surprise.
Terrible, though.
So usually I toss it off to Paulo, but since finally we can maybe shut him up here, Paulo, Eagle. So I'll start off by saying, obviously Paulo's taken on a huge role with FPF since he got started. He was kind of the rogue member of the staff when he kind of got involved with Andrew Dan at the time, right? Iggs doing their Calling the Audible podcast, which is where you got your start as well.
It was completely random at the time too, because the idea for that initial podcast was a pilot, and we were going to bring in guests every single week. I think week 3 was the one where Paulo was featured, because that's when he sent a nasty email to Andrew complaining about how he didn't like the coverage. Or maybe
that was a separate season.
Sounds like
right.
Paulo.
We were,
it does sound like
also, I didn't write that email. That was my brother. Your facts are completely wrong.
It doesn't matter. It tells a nice story. And then it was supposed to be multiple guests along the time, and then come week 8 and 9, we couldn't get people to come in, so Paulo started becoming a regular and then brought in equipment, and then suddenly we were running a full production.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is Paulo was the rich kid with the cool equipment that you let hang out with the rest of the crew.
And I touched the buttons and the knobs.
No, so anyway, but honestly, all that to say, for anyone basically who's been a member of FPF over the last 5-6 years, the name Peeze de la Riz is synonymous with FPF media, with all that we've grown into over the last 5 years. With the podcast and the evolution of the articles, Paulo is essentially the brainchild, I should say, all that stuff is the brainchild of Paulo, who was really the person who kind of ran with the media and has done a terrific job with it. And although he kind of can be a pain in the ass, right, Eagle? We know that he's FPF would not be what it is right now without Paulo, no doubt in my mind. And obviously, as the person who runs the league. It's important for me to surround myself with people who are smart, people who are smarter than me, and likely louder than me. More of that, which is
louder is truer than smarter in this case.
But Paulo, obviously, to avoid the cheese as much as we can, the role you play in FPF is very much appreciated by me, and I know that a lot of players in the league are really appreciative of all the hard work and dedication you put towards FPF, and what the output has become, which is essentially the media.
44% of the votes went your way, Peeze, just to let you know. The next closest was 33%, so they gave you a run for your money, but still, you had almost half of the votes.
What's most frustrating is I got to rewrite the introduction to my article, which was a tribute to Simone Dagenet, because I really tried to campaign for Simone, and I really wanted, to me, it was a weird goal of mine to try and get all of... quote unquote my media team in before I did, so I failed in that goal, but it's definitely it's the weirdest way to be inducted to the Hall of Fame, I guess, to be on the spot here as well, but definitely I'm thankful to the voters, to the people who have spent countless hours on the toilet bowl reading my article, listening to me on podcasts while they should be at work. And for people whose ideas I have stolen and taken to Rob and claimed as my own. So definitely thank you, everyone, for your contributions. And thank you for your votes. It is actually, as much as I do like to joke around and mess around, it is actually absolutely an honor to be inducted today. So thank you guys for that.
And last thing that I'll add, Eagle, is it's not just from a media standpoint. There's a lot of stuff that Paulo does behind the scenes, ratings. There's a lot of things that his fingerprints are on in FPF outside of just the media team. So really, Paulo, very well deserved induction, and we're happy to have you as part of the FPF Hall of Fame. Congrats.
It's appreciated. Thank you, Rob, for joining us. Thank you, Eagle, for everything you've done, and most of all, thank you all for letting me be myself.